Dubious ones, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going over the topic of AEW's future with Warner Brothers Discovery and their future in general. First of all, the main thought is, are we moving to 3 hours? Are we going to move over to a 3-hour Dynamite or perhaps a 3-hour Rampage? Possibly both. If you've been following AEW over the last little while, they have been combining Rampage with either adding it on to the end of Collision or to the end of Dynamite, and we have been getting 3-hour shows as of late. Now, the reason I bring this up, as been reported by John Pollock and Brian Thurston of WrestleNomics, Comcast/NBC Universal is prepared to make a $2.5 billion offer for the NBA. Now, for reference, TNT is the rights holder for these NBA games that Comcast and NBC would be bidding for. TNT is currently paying about $1.2 billion for the NBA rights as it is, so this would be more than doubling the current offer, what they're currently being paid by TNT, and this is a big deal, because if TNT and TBS were to lose the NBA, that would be huge, as the NBA is the second largest sports franchise or entertainment property in all of North America. It would be a huge loss to TNT and their branding if they were to lose the NBA. But at the same time, $2.5 billion is a lot of money. Not to mention that they would be getting less games than they are currently getting through their current contract, as Amazon has jumped into the game and they are going to be having some NBA games streamed over on Amazon. So there's going to be carving out of what TNT already has. They're going to be losing some games to that as it is, and they'd be having to pay more than double the current rights fees. Right now, it's speculated. This is speculated that TNT is currently receiving about $3 US per home per month that it's in. So if you have TNT as part of your cable package, you're paying, as with your general cable package, TNT themselves as a network is receiving $3 per home per month that it's in right now. And it's one of the highest paid networks, and a lot of that is to do with them currently being the home of so many NBA games, as they are a ratings powerhouse. As again, I said, the second most valuable sports franchise, only second to the NFL. So will that $3 per home figure go down if they lose the NBA? In my opinion, that is definitely likely. I don't see how the cable providers would be paying TNT $3 per home per month that they're in if they lose the NBA, because likely they would be losing massive ratings if they were to do that. So what does this mean for AEW if they do opt in and pay the $2.5 billion and match that offer from NBC and Comcast? If they match that offer, that leaves a lot less money in the piggy bank for something like AEW and a renewal of the rights fees, which of course is not going to be coming anywhere close to the tune of $2.5 billion per year. But it's going to leave them with a lot less money to mess around with for programming. And AEW, I just don't think, is at the top of their priority list. So that could be some bad news for AEW if they do pay the $2.5 billion for the NBA. But if they don't opt to pay the $2.5 billion price tag, again, more than double what they're currently paying for the rights fees, then they're likely going to be going down from their $3 per home per month that they receive as a cable package, as a network. But they're going to have a lot of time that they're going to need to fill on their network, and they're going to want more live programming. They're going to want something like AEW, as it can provide hours and hours of content. They'll also, not having a $2.5 billion price tag on their books, they're going to have more money to splash around for something like AEW. So if they were to renew AEW and continue to keep all of the AEW programming on their network, they'd have more money to offer to Tony Khan and to AEW to keep AEW running on their programs. But at the same time, they will be getting less money as a whole as a network if they're losing that massive ratings that they get from the NBA currently. So it's kind of like a catch-22. They're going to have less money to work with, but they're going to have more programming that they need to fill. And you'd imagine they will have some more money because $2.5 billion is a huge amount of money per year. But how much will that $3 per home figure go down if they lose the NBA? That's really the biggest question. And that's something they're going to have to decide is it worth $2.5 billion to them to keep NBA on their networks currently? And if not, they're going to need to fill so much programming. They're going to have Tuesdays, they're going to have Thursdays free. So if they don't renew the NBA, I could definitely see AEW getting a massive increase in rights fees, but I also think we'd be seeing a lot more programming from AEW, whether they do, a live half an hour on a specific day promoting, Dynamite and Rampage and Collision. I definitely could see Dynamite being extended to a 3-hour show to fill up more time, or Collision going to 3 hours, or both of them going to a 3-hour show. But I definitely think if they do not re-sign the NBA, if they don't lock down the rights to the NBA, that AEW will get quite the jump in rights fees, and I think we're going to be getting more AEW programming. Now, my question to you guys is, do you think having a 3-hour Dynamite or a 3-hour Collision, getting 5 hours, 6 hours of AEW programming every week, as I would assume they would consolidate Rampage into either Collision or Dynamite, one of the two, or just make them both 3-hour shows. But that is a lot of wrestling to watch every week. If you include pay-per-views, monthly, bi-monthly, that is a lot to ask of your wrestling audience, which is why I think shows like Rampage and Collision suffer in the ratings, not just based on their time slots, but also on the fact that it's a big ask to be a wrestling fan these days with all these hours and hours and hours of wrestling. So my question to you guys really is, do you think TNT re-signs and signs that $2.5 billion deal to keep the rights fees to the NBA, or do you think they let them go? And if they do let them go, do you think AEW is going to get that big bump in rights fees? And do you think we'll get more specialized programming from AEW on TNT and TBS? More shows like, we had Roads to the Top before. Do we get another maybe reality show based around AEW and stuff like that to fill in more programming time? I personally think we will, but we will have to wait and see as it's coming down to the line with those television rights fees for the NBA, so we won't have to wait too long to figure it out. But I personally think the best thing for AEW is if they don't sign that $2.5 billion deal, because that's a lot of money off the table, and I don't think that helps AEW. I think if they lose the NBA, I think it's good for AEW. I don't think it's great for TNT and TBS as a network as a whole, losing so much ratings, so much of a ratings powerhouse on the NBA. But I think it's good for AEW in the fact that they're going to need them more now than ever for live programming, for extra programming, whatever they can get down there. And if they ever do lock up the rights to, streaming, say, their pay-per-views on, an HBO Max or anything else that they have like that, where they're able to lock in those pay-per-views like you get with WWE and the PLEs on Peacock, right? So I could see something like that coming in the future. But sound off in the comments down below, dubious ones. Let me know your thoughts, and I will catch you in the next one. Dubious ones, peace.
Make way for me.